Also. All right, I think we're live. Hello and welcome, everyone. I think we're live. Thank you. Let me go live on Instagram also. Hello. Thank you so much for being here with me. Welcome to another episode of Deportation Defense Live. All right. Welcome to another episode of Deportation Defense Live. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you so much. Today, it's Tuesday, the 9th of August of 2022. And the theme of our episode today is that my family members detained, how can I help them? All right? And so, and I'll explain why that's the theme today. This is a timely theme, everybody. We've got news to discuss today, and we're going to see an uptick in immigration detention. So, first of all, welcome and thank you to everyone who's here, all right? Remember that the Deportation Defense Live is here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants who are facing deportation to make the most out of immigration laws, to make the most out of their lives, and to win their cases, all right? Are you facing removal in immigration court? Do you know someone who's facing removal proceedings in immigration court? Because if so, you know that it is not easy. It is an uphill battle. The laws are against us. And here at the Deportation Defense Live, we're here to maximize your chances of winning that case. That's what we're doing here, all right? Today our theme is, my family members detained, how can I help them? And thank you to everyone who asked your questions ahead of time. The truth is I didn't get very many questions this week ahead of time. And so if you're here, if you're joining me, and if you have a question, send it over, and I'll handle it. I am on a tighter schedule today. I'm on a tighter schedule today than I normally am. I'm actually starting this episode a little bit earlier than I normally do. And so I might not have time to answer every question that we get, but I might. And so send it over, all right? Mr. Tusk, I see you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And so we got 30 minutes, maybe a little less, to discuss this in English, and then we'll switch into Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, join us in just a bit. Si habla español, que venga en unos 20 minutos, vamos a comenzar en español. Okay, as always, I want to start with our empowerment tip, all right? Well, not as always. I've started doing this maybe 2 weeks ago, and so let me know what you think about it. My empowerment tip today is just to ask you a question. Have you ever invested in your own professional growth? Have you ever invested in your own personal growth? Have you ever taken your own money and invested in yourself? Because I encourage you to do it, okay? Some people say, no, wait, I'm not going to pay for my own growth conference, right? My employer, my boss ought to pay for that, right? And maybe there's truth in that, right? But then often when we say stuff like that, people don't end up getting the value of their own professional development. And I don't want you to be like that. I don't want that for you. I want you to be a person that finds your own educational opportunities and goes for them, all right? Forget about your boss and what your boss wants. You want to develop yourself, okay? So go for your own development. Pay for your own development. Investing into yourself is believing in yourself. Okay? That is being empowered. Okay? Because nobody knows everything, but everybody can improve and everybody can learn more. And if you do that and if you take that on, it is money well spent. And it's worth more than most of the things that you were planning on spending that money on. Okay? Have you ever done anything like that? Maybe Landmark, Tony Robbins, Dale Carnegie. There's hundreds of places that offer great training in personal and professional growth. And I just encourage you to go get trained, all right? Develop your skill set. It might be finances, relationships, success, business, whatever. Nothing empowers a person like knowledge. And so invest in your knowledge and your growth, and you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. All right? Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening to that. Hopefully the empowerment tip is useful, and hopefully you don't just listen to it and be like, oh, that'd be nice, but you actually take action with it. All right? Okay, so now I want to get into the topic today. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here. Let me take a moment, step back. If you're on YouTube, thank you for joining me. If you're on Facebook right now, thank you for joining me. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, hello, thank you for joining me. LSMCPA, hello, thank you for joining me on Instagram. I see you there. There's some other people joining on Instagram right now too. Hello, thank you. So, all right. Our topic for today is my family members detained by ICE or detained by immigration. What can I do? How can I help them? And there's news about this, all right? The big news is, you've probably seen it in the news, is that the Remain in Mexico program that was started under the Trump administration, the Remain in Mexico program is ending. Okay, should I say that again? The Remain in Mexico program is ending, everybody. Like, we should clap and celebrate and jump up and down that the Remain in Mexico program is ending, so that immigrants who are arriving to the United States don't have to remain in Mexico to file their case. Got it? That is big news. That is important to be aware of. Okay? But they don't have to remain in Mexico, so how are they going to be processed? Where are they going to have to wait then? What it really means in practice, it might not feel like good news to people. What it really means in practice is that people who are arriving through Mexico to the U.S. border and asking for protection, asking for asylum, asking to stay in the United States, and turning themselves in at the border, many more of those people are going to be detained. They're going to be put into a detention facility, like a jail. All right? And so that's why this topic, how do you help a family member who's detained, is important right now. Because as this program, the Remain in Mexico program, is ending, more and more immigrants are going to be detained. And you got to be aware of it, because detention is not fun. So often the first question that somebody calls our office asking is, hey, my family member just crossed the border, they're detained, I don't know where they are, and I don't know how to help them. So then we go through this, right? And we can figure out where they are, and we can figure out how to help them. So here's the thing to know. If a person arrives at the border without documents, all right, sometimes Border Patrol will just send them back, right? Catch and release. No formal process. Won't actually process a deportation order against them. And they'll just say, yo, get out of here, and that'll be it. More and more, though, Border Patrol actually puts people into what they call an expedited removal process, meaning giving them a deportation order. Okay? And so an expedited removal process, so 3 different processes. One is no formal deportation process, they just send them back. All right? Process number 2 is expedited removal. Process number 3 is the worst of them, and that's called reinstatement of removal. And that's like they've already been deported before, and now they don't even get a process. They just get the same order of deportation. Or in some instances, even worse, they get passed to criminal authorities to get charged and prosecuted for unlawful reentry. Anyway, so that's, if they're in those processes, I don't care which of those processes they're in, a person has the right to claim fear. Hey, I'm afraid. I'm afraid for my life. If you send me back to my country, they're going to kill me. People have the right to say that. They have the right to claim fear. All right? And now, depending on which of the processes they're in, if they're in expedited removal proceedings, they'll be given what's called a credible fear interview. Okay? And they can then be allowed to say their story, meet with an asylum officer who's theoretically trained in this stuff, tell their story of why they are afraid, and see if their claim for asylum is quote-unquote credible. All right, that's the credible fear interview process. If they pass that process, they'll get a notice to appear. They might get released, all right, and they'll be put into deportation, full-on deportation proceedings where they can file for asylum and hear their case in front of a judge. If they're in reinstatement of removal proceedings, all right, they've already got a deportation against them, deportation order against them, it's a harder situation for them. And they need to go to what's called a reasonable fear interview. They can still say they're afraid for their life, but there's no asylum in that context. It's withholding only proceedings if they win. So they're applying for what they call withholding of removal. And so much fewer benefits come with withholding. So anyway, you got to know, you got to kind of understand their process. And then it helps to then know what's their option to get released and what's their option for asylum or withholding or relief under the Convention Against Torture. All right, if they fail those interviews, the credible fear interview or the reasonable fear interview, if they fail the interview, they'll be deported, okay? And they'll have a deportation order against them. They call it a expedited removal order or just a reinstated removal. But if they pass the interview, they'll be allowed to submit their full asylum application or withholding of removal application. Okay? So at that point then, if they're like detained, if they're given a credible fear interview, at that point, they will be assigned to an ICE officer. They'll be detained. They'll often be transferred to some ICE detention facility, maybe in Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, some in California, Southern California, you know. At that point, it's time to get a lawyer, okay? You're going to want a lawyer, you know. One, to help prepare your loved one for their interview, whatever interview it is, and represent them at that interview. But two, to start contacting ICE to request that person to be released. All right? Hey, has bond been set? Hey, could we get this person released on parole so there is no bond? Hey, could we, you know, pay a bond, get them released? And if they say no, then let's fight about it. And we fight, request a bond hearing in court. Okay? That's basically how it works. Okay? If their credible fear interview is successful, people often can get released from detention at that point, but you got to win the credible fear interview first, for the most part. All right? Border Patrol has lots of discretion. ICE has lots of discretion. Sometimes they'll parole people in and send them the interview at a later date. But often, people are detained until their interview. If their interview is successful, they can pay a bond and get released, or sometimes immigration will just release them. If they're not successful, they'll be deported. Okay? And so, anyway, you got to know this. If it's, if we're fighting, if your interview is successful, there are certain instances also where the interview is successful and they don't want to release the person. Like imagine, because release from detention is a discretionary thing. Right? It's not automatic. And so sometimes we want to show that our client is not a danger. We want to show they've got no criminal record. We want to show they've got they're a contributing member to society. They've got a place where they're going to stay. They're not a flight risk, right? Sometimes we want to show as much as possible to allow ICE to feel comfortable to release the person, right? And then if they don't, we fight in front of a judge. That's basically it. All right? That's basically it. That's basically everything that I wanted to cover today. So it's happening more and more. The Remain in Mexico program is ending. And what that means in practice is that immigrants who are arriving are going to be detained more as they submit their request for asylum or for protection in the United States. Asylum is not easy. It's an uphill battle, and you're going to want legal help as you go through that process. If my office can help you, hey, we'd love to help you. And if my office isn't the best fit for you for whatever reason, hey, still do get help. All right? Still do get help. I really want everybody to, like, it's not a time to try to, don't try to file asylum by yourself. Like, don't. All right? This is your life we're talking about. Okay? Get professional help. It will increase your chances of winning. All right? You want to win this case. All right. That's all I got. All right, Mr. Tusk, great to see you again. For Lushore, hello. Lacey Alcantara, hello. Great to see you on Instagram. Beautiful Ladies, 32, hello. NFTada, 13, hello. Jose, hello. On Instagram, welcome. Thank you all so much. So that's my spiel for today. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. I'm filming this at a little bit earlier time than I normally do. I'm going to go in Spanish in just a minute. And so I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, if you want them answered, please send them to me. I'll upload my answers to those. To see those, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please click the notifications bell. And if you have an immigration case, as always, hey, please give us a call. We are here to help. All right? Thank you all so much. That's it for today. My name's Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And I'll see you on the next episode of Deportation Defense Live. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.